Endo Shusaku's Deep River is a novel set against the backdrop of India's Ganges River, tracing the journeys of individuals carrying distinct wounds as they search for meaning in life. Published in 1993 as the author's final full-length work, the story grapples with profound human suffering and questions of religious salvation, while exploring weighty themes like death, love, and faith. It leaves readers with a lingering sense of peace that transcends pain. The characters' journeys, stories of wounds and healing. The novel revolves around 4 protagonists who join a group tour to India. Each carries burdens tied to their past, and their paths to redemption unfold in unique ways as they confront the Ganges. Isob is a man who lost his wife abruptly. Tormented by guilt and emptiness over her death, he travels to India clinging to the belief in her reincarnation. His inner turmoil is laid bare in lines like, "The death you held back with open arms seemed to appear before me the moment you vanished." Mitsuko, a woman haunted by inner void, is burdened by her past manipulation of Atsu, a Catholic priest she seduced and abandoned during their university years. When Atsu leaves for India to pursue his divine mission, she follows him to the Ganges. Her journey becomes a quest to reconcile her doubts about faith and her own identity. Atsu, a priest who rejects conventional Catholic doctrine, abandons Eurocentric theology to care for India's untouchables, embodying a living God. His act of carrying the dying to the Ganges is seen as a reenactment of Christ's sacrifice, blurring the lines between religious traditions. The Ganges River, a symbolic space of life and death, more than a geographical setting. The Ganges, the novel's titular Deep River, holds layered symbolism. Despite its polluted waters and floating corpses, Hindus revere it as a sacred site that cleanses all sins. The ashes of the rich and poor alike, dissolving into its currents, evoke an image of salvation transcending social hierarchies. Endo uses the river to embody universal human suffering. Pilgrims bathing on its banks, the elderly preparing for death, and families cremating loved ones illustrate the coexistence of life and mortality. The line, "The deep river accepts all souls and flows silently on its course," crystallizes the author's worldview. Religious reconciliation. Bridging Catholicism and Hinduism. The novel moves beyond clashes between Western Christianity and Eastern spirituality, proposing harmony through action. Atsu, dressed in Hindu attire while aiding locals, emphasizes practical love over doctrinal conflict. He redefines religion's essence by declaring, "Throughout history, God has shown humanity only love." This perspective mirrors Endo's own spiritual struggles. As a Japanese Catholic, he questioned God's silence in his earlier work Silence. In Deep River, however, he portrays a God who suffers alongside humanity, suggesting universal salvation beyond religious boundaries. Literary significance. Probing the depths of humanity. The novel transcends religious allegory to offer philosophical meditation on human existence. The characters' discoveries at the Ganges are not about sectarian salvation but the deep river within themselves. Endo implies that personal wounds can lead to collective healing, as seen in his phrase, "The sorrow of the human river." The deep river of humanity. The African-American spiritual deep river, quoted at the novel's opening, underscores this message. Its lyrics, "O Lord, I want to cross over into campground," paint the river as a conduit of salvation for all who suffer. Epilogue. Dreaming of coexistence beyond suffering. Deep River leaves a resonant imprint. Endo dismantles binaries, death and life, impurity and purity, faith and doubt. The human dramas along the Ganges suggest that confronting wounds is the first step toward healing. Like the river flowing steadfastly through dark valleys, The novel reminds us that the sorrow within can become a path to redemption. This literary masterpiece awakens courage to face our inner depths, offering solace that even in despair, hope persists, quiet, enduring, and universal.